The third Adeptus Custodes character has joined Tacticus, as Kariyan, the Blade Champion, becomes the 94th character overall to join the game. Today we'll see if they really are as good as they looked in the recent survival event. The third Adeptus Custodes character is joining Tacticus, as Kariyan becomes the next golden banana to join the game, and this has been a video that I've been waiting on for a while to do because when we were playing Custodes in the recent survival event, he looked like he was going to be an awesome character to play, definitely from a satisfying perspective. His attack animation is really awesome for me, but let's take a look together to see if he's actually going to be worth it. In lore, among the ranks of the Adeptus Custodes, where every warrior is a paragon of perfection, the Blade Champion stands apart. He is the Emperor's executioner. His oath is singular, his purpose absolute: to end the greatest threats to humanity with speed, elegance, and finality. The Blade Champion is a master duelist, trained in dozens of martial disciplines, refined over 10,000 years. While his Custodes brothers form the shield of the Imperium, he is the Blade. Where enemy champions rise, warlords, Xenos tyrants, demons, it is the Blade Champion who strides forward, unspeaking, and cuts them down in a blur of righteous light. Clad in resplendent automite and wielding the Volt swords, exquisite blades for his distinct killing forms, he adapts to his foes with ease. One moment a whirlwind of spinning fury, the next a measured surgical killer. Against him, brute strength fails, speed fails, only surrender or death prevails. As always in this series, we're going to take a look at 3 different things: how long it roughly takes him to level up to Diamond 3 when compared to other characters, his traits and general usefulness, and how good he is in legendary events. I'm not going to be looking too much into his usefulness in guild raids or tournaments, as I'm going to leave that to our other wonderful content creators. So let's dive right in. Kariyan is going to be unlocked in this month's Battle Pass, and if you want to unlock them early, then you're going to need to add in some funds. I believe that this time, it's even the ultimate pass that's going to need to be purchased, so you best get saving. And before you get too angry at me for that, I don't work for the developers, I just make videos for you. However, as a nice little bonus this month, we have a special code, DBP Kariyan, and this will open 5 Jude shards and 50 energy. I think Jude and Kariyan might well be my favourite characters moving forwards, but only if Kariyan is good. And it doesn't stop here though, because we've got some incredible goals to reach this year. With every 1,000 subscribers, another new code's going to be added, and we are well on our way to 7k viewers. So hit that subscribe button, get your guildmates to do the same, and keep an eye out for my weekly videos. And in the meantime, if you want to earn some free blackstone to help you on your way, you can use my Refer a Friend code in-game today to get 100 free blackstone. Just note that you can only use one person's Refer a Friend code, so make sure you make the most of it. Let's start by looking at roughly how long it takes characters to level from Stone 1 to Diamond 3. The reason I say roughly is because my sheets don't take into account all the extra ways you can get free energy, like in the tournament arena, items gifted to you from your guildmates or from the daily shop. It also doesn't take into account any hard to get items that haven't been added to a lot of places yet. But even with all that in mind, it's always interesting to see how they compare to other characters. So what about Kariyan? Where does he fit in? Well, he comes in 77th place, taking around 38 days to go from Stone 1 to Diamond 3, and so far is the easiest Adeptus Custodes to level. However, in truth, it's all really close, as they all take 38 days, and it's just a minor amount of differences in their upgrades that change the amount of time between them, so don't read too much into this. Overall, they are all pretty easy to level compared to the rest of the characters in the game, and if we take a look at the graph, then we can see him over there on the right hand side, and so he is still respectable to level. It takes Kariyan 3 days to go from Stone 1 to Bronze 1, another 2 days from Bronze 1 to Silver 1, 5 days to Gold 1, 13 days to Diamond 1, and then 15 days to Diamond 3, which of course adds back up to the total 38 days. But let's see if it's worth investing our time. Kariyan is an Imperial character. He has a Power 3 melee attack that has a 40% pierce ratio, and he has no ranged attack. He has the Custodes special trait Martial Kata, which sees him reduce normal attacks against him by 20%, and it also allows him to deal double damage with all his attacks against summons. He also has the Beast Slayer trait, which allows him to deal extra damage to big targets and vehicles, and this also means he has a chance to add an extra block as well. This trait is always interesting for characters to be used in guild raids. He has Rapid Assault, which adds 1 movement and allows him to do extra damage during his first melee attack of the game. He can also parry enemy attacks, which reduces their melee attacks by 1 hit to a minimum of 1. And, surprisingly, he's resilient, which means that when he would be killed in battle, he's instead reduced to 1 health unless overkilled. And all in all, that's a mixed bag of results. Next, we'll look at the character's melee damage, range damage, and defense. We do this by leveling the character up to be Winged Diamond 3 with level 30 skills and no weapons or equipment. This is just to equalize the playing field. Then, Castellan Creed, the character with the most average armor and traits in the game, becomes a punching bag for them to test their damage. And finally, Creed will punch them back to see their defensive skills. This is all then ranked against everyone else in the game, so let's see how they do today. Creed, are you ready for today's test?
Oh, come on. Another Custodes character? Aren't you bored of this? Give me a real challenge. I'm fed up of seeing these stuck-up goldenrods.
Alright, we'll definitely be getting some new targets soon, I promise.
We better! Right, let's get on with it.
Kariyan's melee attack does 3015 damage, and he takes 954 from Creed. And that damage isn't the best as it puts him in 33rd place, and that isn't the highest, but his active and passive abilities do change this a little bit as we will soon see. It's still top 3rd damage at least, so it isn't completely useless by any means, and it does look very cool attacking. But the really surprising thing for me is his defensive capabilities. Right now he's in 10th place, and being top 10 just behind the Terminator characters or Mark 10 Gravis Armor characters is certainly not something to ignore. This guy is seriously decent in defense, and that balance will definitely make him interesting for a bunch of you. For his skills, his passive is Legacy of Combat, which is in the damage category of skills. It works like this. After performing his first attack each turn, Kariyan performs an additional attack. If he's adjacent to an enemy with a big target trait, then that attack deals an extra chunk of piercing damage, which has a whopping 80% pierce ratio. Otherwise, it deals a bit of power damage with 40% pierce ratio to each adjacent enemy instead. So you'll want to be positioning him pretty carefully, either next to a big target like Revas, or adjacent to as many characters as possible. Should this be prioritized as a skill over others for new players? No, damage skills always come later unless you're really focusing on this champion. His active is Martial Inspiration, and this is also in the damage category of skills. This one's a little bit simpler to use, but ramps up a serious amount as the match goes on. It deals a bunch of eviscerating damage, which is a 50% pierce ratio, but the damage ramps up considerably for each turn Kariyan has made an attack in this battle. The great thing is that you can use this every 2 rounds, so in legendary events, he's going to be doing some serious smashing by the end of the match, if he survives it. So basically, you want this character to be attacking as much as he possibly can be. Should this be prioritized as a skill over other for new players? No, it's the same as his passive. Damage skills are only for later. So what do I think about these traits and skills? Well, I think this is just a great character, and it definitely lives up to the potential we saw in the Adeptus Custodes survival event. With 5 traits, 3 movement, an okay hit and 2 really good damage abilities, he's definitely someone you should consider. I don't see many negatives with him at all, and his abilities themselves have a lot of little tactical nuances in them, with being able to use his active twice, and then also for his passive, making sure that you position yourself correctly either next to a big target character or as near to as many other characters as possible. It's very nuanced, and I love that. But just be careful with the fear of missing out on him, because even with all this kit, I don't think he's the absolute best character in the game. I'm just saying that for some players, I think he could become a real favourite of theirs. You'll of course need to think long and hard about whether you want to spend the extra money this month on the battle pass to get him. In terms of the modes he fits into, I definitely see him having a place in legendary events because of the traits he's got. I think he'll definitely do okay based on those traits and damage types, but generally he has this ramp up damage, he has resilient trait, and he's quite tough, which means that sticking him next to a healer is going to keep him trucking along for quite some time. I also expect to see him sneaking into some multi-hit guild raid teams as well, especially if you're a newer player and maybe don't have some of the bigger characters like Karn, or maybe even a specific Custodes multi-hit team with someone else being added in to buff. For Guild Wars, he's going to be annoying to put down, and you really need to focus him early. He's also going to have a pretty decent attack, So if you can keep him alive, then he's going to be able to smash later in battle. And then for the tournament arena and faction arena, I can definitely see him having a place as the character that comes in later on in a battle and really does some damage. Again, you're going to need to make sure you're focusing him down early, but that of course means that somebody else isn't getting focused. So who do they work well with? Well, obviously Custodes is looking really strong. I think they might come out as a top 5 faction in the game easily based on what we've seen so far. I really think we're going to see a lot of people leveling them up as well because of their popularity. I mean, if they're good enough for Henry Cavill, then they're definitely good enough for you. My other spin-off team is the one that trashes the opposition. They attack hard and fast and then continuously pump out serious damage and are just a lot of fun all in their own right. Imagine facing off against a team of Kariyan, Jude, Karn, Brother Jaeger, and Sword Brother God's Will or Ragnar to round it off. Screw defenses, these guys are just going to get in your face and continually hit it over and over until it's mashed potatoes. I really can't wait to try out this team. And so ignoring the obvious, where do you see him fitting in? I bet there's some real fun teams I'm missing out on. But overall, he's just going to be another champion we really need to consider picking up. With so many older champions who are just starting to fall further and further back in terms of usefulness, these newer champions are just coming along with more and more power in their kits, which of course is a dangerous precedence to have, especially as we've invested so much into some of them, but I guess that's what reset stones are for. For Kariyan, you have to seriously consider him as an addition to your team. Now let's get into legendary events, starting with the Mephiston event, and as I said during the ASOTH review, this will be the next legendary event we can actually play on 6th of July, and it's going to be the last time that you can play his event before he joins the requisition boxes, so let's see how Kariyan does in it before he drops off. In the Alpha track, there's no Imperials allowed, and so he doesn't get to play. In the Beta track, he appears in the no big target, minimum 3 hits, and piercing battles. And in the Gamma track, he appears in the Power, no mechanical, and minimum 3 hits battles. And overall, that gives him a really great score of 395. It actually puts him in equal third for the Mephiston event itself, and well above the 236 average score that characters get for this event. Moving to the Pattermine event, in the Alpha track, he appears in the melee and max 4 hits battles. In the Beta track, he doesn't get to play because it's no Imperials. And in the Gamma track, he appears in the piercing, no Overwatch, no Final Vengeance, and power battles. And that gives him another really great score of 370 points. Again, it's well above the average score for this event, which is 278, so really interesting. Moving to the Dante event, in the Alpha track, he appears in the power and rapid assault battles. In the Beta track, he only appears in the max 3 hits battle, and in the Gamma track, Imperials are not allowed, and so he doesn't get to play. And so he only gets a score of 200 for the Dante event. However, that is just above average, which is 196 for this event, so not the worst, but definitely not the best. And finally, for his faction ally, Trajan, in the Alpha track, he appears in the piercing damage battle. In the Beta track, it's no Imperials allowed, so he doesn't get to play. And then finally, in the Gamma track, he appears in the Resilient, no bolter damage, and minimum 3 hits battles. And overall, that gives him a score of 310, which again is a really decent score, and well above the average score of 196 for this event. And oh my, check out Kariyan. He has instantly entered at 4th position in the list, and that is the highest scoring champion we've had in a long time in legendary events. Now of course, with the Mephiston event leaving us soon, and Kariyan scoring incredibly well in there, he may drop down the list a little bit, but regardless, I see him being a top 10 champion in legendary events, and that means I'm definitely going to be getting him. Apart from anything else, because of his passive ability, he's included in the piercing battles, and I've already got a pretty incredible team for those ones with Tyrant Guard in the middle, providing protection for everyone, Jane Czar as the off-tank, Incisus healing, and then Shosil as the ranged combat. And I've usually flip-flopped between Eldrion or Calandus for the 5th position, but it's never really felt good, and now we have an incredible second off-tank for that team. So he is definitely someone I'm going to be pushing up to Diamond 1 at least. And that is so exciting for me personally, as this is my favourite event, and really makes him an essential character for me. I'll definitely be investing fully into getting him. But what do you think of Kariyan? Are you going to be splashing the cash to pick up the battle pass and bring this Blade champion into your team? Or are you going to be pretending he doesn't exist and keeping your month free to play only? Either way, you can check him out right now in the latest version of the Google Planner Sheets linked below.